At some time or another, you have probably eaten out for dinner and been served. If you have, you've probably had some great experience, but you've also possibly had some bad ones. When serving in a casual fine dining restaurant, the most important thing to remember is that you are the key person in creating an optimal experience for the guest. In a casual fine dining restaurant, the ambiance is set, the food is great due to experienced chefs and top-of-the-line recipes, but that means that most of the weight of the experience for your guests fall on the shoulders of the servers. They're the representative and the face of the restaurant. What the servers do ultimately reflect back on the restaurant as a whole. Some of you may be asking, how can a server influence the experience of a guest? It starts from the very beginning of the shift. If the server cares for the guests, they will arrive early and be sure that everything is properly set up in the restaurant so that they are well prepared when the customers arrive. Next is about the face-to-face interaction with guests. The thing servers should always keep in mind is that the guests come first and they are the #1 priority. From the moment the server approaches the table, they should have a smile on their face, a positive attitude, and pay attention to the guests' wants and needs. Servers must pay attention to even the smallest details. An important detail would be to serve guests open-handed, never backhanding a guest. Let me show you what that looks like. If you are serving someone that's on your left, rather than serving like this, which would be backhanding them, you would always serve with your palm facing the guests, so it would look like this. And the same goes if you're serving the person to your right, open palm with the plate, placing it down in front of them like this. Also, if there is some form of protein or meat on their plate, you always place that meat, let's say it's right here, so you're going to place that part of the plate at 6 o'clock. In other words, just means right in front of the guest rather than the meat being turned this way. Another small detail to remember is to not interrupt conversation. If you have a table that talks for a while after arriving and you still haven't gotten the chance to take their order, you can walk by, fill their drinks, and see if anyone acknowledges you. If they still don't acknowledge you when you're walking by, don't interrupt them. Just let them have their time, let them catch up together, and enjoy their experience. You don't have to feel rushed. Keeping drinks filled is another detail that makes a huge difference. A good rule to go by is to not let the guest's drink fall below the halfway point. So what does that look like? This would be below half point. This is not good, okay? This one is where you want to keep it. You may feel, oh, I'm annoying the guest, or I don't want to go to their table too many times. But filling their drink does not require you to interrupt them. You come by and you pick up the drink, you come and turn this way to fill their drink, rather than over them in case there were to be a spill, and then you place the drink back down and leave the table. If the guests ask you for a refill, you've waited way too long. Anticipating the needs of each guest makes a huge difference. A detail that sometimes gets missed in restaurants is serving ladies first. It might be and seem inconvenient to do sometimes, but it's very important when serving. Also, repeating orders back to customers will help minimize those mistakes. All of these small details make a big difference in the experiences your guests have. It's best for servers to always be one step ahead of their guests. When you meet a guest's need or want without them having to ask you first, it can leave such a positive impact. Another thing to remember when serving is that the other servers and you are a team. If you work together, you can all be more productive and effective. A good rule to go by is full hands in and full hands out of the kitchen. For example, if you're coming out of the kitchen, bring as much as you can for tables in the dining room. That means that even if there's food ready up on the food line, hot food, and it's not your table, when you can go ahead and place that on your plate, as well as whatever things you need for your own tables. Take it all out there at the same time, drop it off for your other servers, and it will be more likely that the other tables in the restaurant will be happy. When walking through the dining room, you can scan the tables, pick up any dirty plates or silverware or cups that are being used, and go ahead and take them to the kitchen, even if it's not your own table. People notice things. So even your guests, they might be over in this side of the restaurant and you're over here picking up plates from another server's tables. They can definitely notice that, and they can notice and see that you're going above and beyond in order to help your coworkers, and it can leave you could be a great representation for the restaurant. No matter what happens during your shift, a good attitude is something that must be maintained. Suppose you get a poor tip, or possibly no tip at all. It's important to stay positive through that and to not let it affect you in the way you treat the rest of your tables or the people around you, with the main goal being keeping guests first priority. Treating every occasion for them as if it is a special occasion can make the biggest difference and will help you to create the finest experience for every guest that walks through the doors. The thing to remember is that serving goes beyond just delivering food and drinks to someone's table. A positive experience can be created if a server keeps guests first, goes the extra mile, pays attention to the small details, and keeps a positive attitude at all times. And with these things in mind, a server can create the experience that their guests want when they walk into a casual, fine dining restaurant.